subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Before we get started, let me shout out some of the regulars in the building. We have so many people. There's a lot of people coming in. Damn, y'all coming in real fast, real heavy. We have the lovely Lauren in the building. I see Lauren. I see Yasmin. I see Jabril, Cha Cha, the Earth Angel, Panamera, Chrissy, Brother Seven, FBA, Shanae in the building. Sister Shanae looking lovely. Breeze 666, Obsidian, Jess, FBA Lamont, Kiara in the building, FBA Law. We up in here heavy. The Black Receipt, Drizzy, V Link Up, Rhonda, Miss Skyline Sweets, Tina, Ty Powell, Brother Highland in the building, Brother Highland Holmes, Trinity. We have Brother Maroc, Sir Mike, Black Views FBA, Hoodoo, Ernez, Grinds TV, Rashonda, Sister Brooke, McCall, FBA Rada, D Salon, FBA Black Boy, Brandon, and the legendary Tethanator. All right, so everybody give me a retweet and let everybody know that we're live right now, because we're going to get into it. We're going to chop it up. Let everybody know we're live. What I do want to talk about, the main thing is, as you guys see, this suspected white supremacist woman, this lady named Shiloh, she's a white woman in Rochester, New York, who was at a park and started calling a special needs, I'll say allegedly, just for mainstream reasons, but allegedly, where she's on video doing it. So she's at this park calling a special needs, an alleged special needs black child, the N-word, just repeatedly calling this child an N-word. And there was a man who filmed, and a lot of the white supremacists are trying to deflect into the man who filmed, because it was some Somalian guy who filmed her. So they're trying to deflect into his alleged criminal record, which has nothing to do with this white woman um, racially terrorizing a damn child. So the white woman, people found her information and put her on Front Street. So then she put up a GoFundMe. She flipped it. Not a GoFundMe, but a Give, Save, Go. So she flipped it, and now she's the victim. And she's like, oh God, I need help. So all the white supremacists rallied around, and they gave her a lot of money. She got a lot of money. Now, a lot of this, we got to understand. This is them. I think the white supremacists think they're getting their lick back from black people supporting Carmelo Anthony. So I think this is them thinking they're getting their lick back by them supporting a degenerate, suspected white supremacist woman who racially attacked a child. But this is how desperate the white supremacists are. I mean, look at us in this year, this day and age. You got the white supremacists out here making a hero out of a degenerate woman who basically racially terrorized a black special needs child. Just unpack that for a minute. That's the mindset we're dealing with. And the cool thing about it, if there is a cool thing about it, the white supremacists, they're so desperate right now. They're playing their cards out in the open, which is always a good thing. When the white supremacists play their cards openly, they don't try to hide and use codes anymore. That's a good thing for us, because that forces us to be on code. That forces us to be on code, and that never really works out for the white supremacists. It always backfires. But we just have to understand, and I'm not shocked. I mean, we talk about white supremacy all the time. This is what we talk about. We live in a system of white supremacy. White supremacy is a group sport. That's why we don't play that. Ain't no white supremacy. The hell it ain't. When you sit up here and you have white supremacists around the country making a hero out of a degenerate suspected white supremacist woman who calls black children the N word, you know how cowardly and degenerate you have to be? But I want y'all to understand the culture of white supremacy. And we have Paul, and Paul is in here. He's a suspected white supremacist. And now, Paul, what they do, let me explain how white supremacy works because we're going to do a deep dive. White supremacy is not about intellectualism, it's about dominance. That's why when you have cases where white supremacist women and white supremacist suspects are targeting children, there's no intellectual retort to it. It's always going to degenerate into trolling. And I'll break that down in a minute. But Paul, let's hear some of your trolling because that's all you're going to bring to the table. So, Paul, go ahead. Let's hear some of it.
Tariq, are you sure you're not confusing me with somebody else, man?
No, no, no. What's going on, Paul?
Well, I was gonna start with saying God bless you in your space. I didn't come here to troll at all. I
Okay.
actually, I actually came here to say, man, I'm so sad to see what I feel like our society is degenerating into, and no, it was terrible. I actually went into a space today because I think it was a JQ space, and they claimed to be Christian, and I said, "How is it Christian to say that this woman is based when she's saying racial epithets and curse words around children? Like, it's a terrible example. There's nothing
Right.
Christian about it."
Okay,
And
there's another Paul because there was another Paul in here the other day co-signing that. So it must be two Pauls. It must have been
no,
another Paul. Okay,
Tariq, you and I are friends, man. We get along. Like I can DM you right now, brother.
yeah, right. But there was another Paul in here, so I kind of got you confused with that one as
Yeah,
well.
I thought so. I was like, why would you think that was
Oh,
me?
okay, oh,
No,
okay. So you're the okay. Well, all right.
I'm the one who talked to you about we got to go save the children and stuff a while back. But nah. Anyway, I just wanted to say God bless you, man. I'm just praying for peace because what worries me is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do your space. And I get you, man. But I just want you to know there's a lot of us out here that absolutely I just condemn racism in no matter what form it comes in. And honestly, I was appalled to see that people give this woman money. I'm
Right,
over here, a hardworking man, raising my kids the right way. And you know what? I'm not gonna be able to put a give send go and ask everybody to give me money, nor would I want to, because I work hard to provide for my family, and we're just heading towards that movie Idiocracy. And I hate to see it, you know?
right. There you go, man. All right. Thank you so much, Paul. But
No
listen, hey,
problem, bro.
but the thing is, listen, we gotta let's be very real. And y'all hear me talk. I talk about white supremacy all the time, and this is why I never let up on it. This is why I'm never fooled or tricked by it. This white woman getting all the support she's getting, I'm not surprised. Once you understand white supremacy, you come to expect certain things. I'm not surprised at all. It's just good that they're being open with the white supremacists nonsense with their white supremacy because that's going to force more folks to get on code against it. Because understand this, you better understand how white supremacy works. White supremacy thrives on degeneracy. And y'all heard me talk about this before. All of the heroes of white supremacists are degenerates, every single one of them. When these white supremacist suspects call up and start talking about black people this, black people that, notice when I ask them questions like, okay, name your heroes who's not degenerate, they get stuck. They can't name anybody. You understand what I'm saying? The white supremacists cannot name any of their quote unquote heroes who were not degenerates. I'm talking about throughout history. The people who they praised, look around the country, the people that they have statues of, take a look at them. They're degenerates. You go down to Atlanta, there's a statue of Henry Grady. He's the degenerate. He was a white supremacist degenerate. There's Confederate statues. They got Confederate statues in D.C., family. I saw that. They have like some Confederate soldiers. I forgot what park it's in. I have to look that up. But I remember being in D.C. and I saw some. They got some Confederate stuff up there in D.C. See, they love praising their degenerates. The Confederates were slave owning degenerates. See, the thing is, you got to understand how white supremacy works. See, they don't. We try to look at them the way we look at each other. It's a whole different animal. See, white supremacy is all about myth making. It's not about merit. Um, and we got to understand why, based on their history, they elevate past and present moral degenerates, lawbreakers, individuals who inflict harm on other people, especially people who are vulnerable. That's foundational to how they operate. So, listen, first of all, violence against black people, that's the litmus test for heroism with white supremacists. That's the litmus test on how violent they can be towards us or how they intend to be violent against us. See, in white supremacist culture, moral character is irrelevant. They've thrown morality out of the window centuries ago when they left Spain for the first time. When they got the hell up out of there, they left the moral stuff alone a long time ago. What matters to them is how willing a person is to inflict harm, humiliation, and control over black people. Violence against black bodies, especially vulnerable people, disabled, poor, children, whoever, women, that becomes the ultimate badge of bravery for these white supremacists. That's why, vigilantes like the Daniel Pennies and the Kyle Rittenhouses. Remember, Kyle Rittenhouse, even though he hit white dudes, his alleged intended targets were black people. And that's good enough. The white people were proxies for the black people he intended to hit. That's why Rittenhouse was throwing up the little white supremacist hand signals and all that stuff. So he gets praise, and white supremacists like that, they get praise because they acted violently against the quote right targets. You see, degeneracy that becomes justified through. Okay, hold on, man. I got somebody texting me. I hope it's not messing up my sound. Okay, hope this is not messing up my sound. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Y'all still hear me? Because sometimes when I'm live and then folks start texting me, it messes the live up. Can you guys hear me? Everything good? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Okay. We good? Okay. Just double checking. All right, just double checking. Just double checking. I wish I could turn this off. Somebody's texting me. I wish I could turn off their texts, but it's whatever. All right. Um, but like I said about the degenerate behavior of the white supremacist, it's all justified through anti-blackness. Um, if they murder black folks, abuse, verbally humiliate, it becomes a virtue when it's directed towards us. So your immorality, that's overlooked. Immorality is an asset when it comes to them targeting us. And also, you got to understand the culture of white supremacy. They reward everyday white supremacists. See, the white supremacists, they don't, the system don't need elite or institutional actors. They need the everyday average white person to uphold and enforce it. And you get the everyday degenerates, the soccer moms, the vigilantes, the trolls. You can turn them into heroes. And that encourages other ordinary white supremacists to engage in white supremacist behavior. It tells the masses you don't need to be a saint, you just need to be loyal to the racial hierarchy. Remember, Kyle Rittenhouse was a goofy nobody, But the fact that he was willing to target black folks and he got some white people by proxy who was defending black people, that's good enough. That made him a hero. Daniel Penny was a nobody. Riding the subway, he was a nobody. He got to sneak up on another special needs black person and kill him from behind on some coward shit, and he became a hero. They paraded him around with the president. You see what I'm saying? George Zimmerman. They treated him like a hero. And they still protect George Zimmerman to this day. They still protect him. So the thing is, being degenerate and projecting, because they like to project a lot of things onto us. See, white supremacist movements, they project all of their degeneracy onto black people while hiding their own. See, they like to paint black culture as criminal or immoral, and they're the ones who are the drug users, the alcoholics, the sex abusers, domestic abusers, pedos, the whole shebang. That's their culture. Look at who they elevate and prop up. People who attack children. We don't do that, and we definitely don't praise that. That's not anything that's praised within our society. So it's a lot of projection. You remember the other day I was debating a white supremacist and he started talking about AIDS and all that. I had to gently remind him that that was something from his community going back to the 80s when they first started talking about all the AIDS cases. Remember, it was a whole bunch of white dudes getting it. And then they had to start hiding that, especially with Liberace. For those who don't know, there was a white gay man who was a very famous entertainer. He was a queen and he had AIDS. He died of AIDS. And they were trying to hide the fact because AIDS had become very popular by the late 80s and so many white males were dying from it. So there was a stigma to it. So you couldn't have a stigma onto white people, especially white males. You can't have them with this negative cloud, this stigma on them. So they right after the 80s, they started revamping AIDS and they made it a black thing. But with Liberace, when he was dying of AIDS, they tried to claim it was something else. This is when we start seeing them say, okay, no, say that it's pneumonia. Say that it's some kind of kidney failure. Say everything but AIDS. No, don't. When it comes to white dudes, stop saying it's AIDS. And we saw them, late 80s, actively taking the stigma off white people and putting that on black folks. And there was a brother named Zeers Miles who wrote books during the late 80s, early 90s, very rare stuff. And I got one of his books. And he was talking about, this is a black man, he was saying how they were going to racialize AIDS and make it a black thing. He was breaking it all down. Now, this brother ended up dying mysteriously around 1995. But this brother was extremely deep. He was from out here in California. And he said that they were going to start um, making AIDS and coverage of AIDS primarily black. And he was talking about certain cures that they were going to hide, which is true. So it was some heavy stuff, but I digress as far as that. But the thing is, a lot of the stuff is projected onto us. And historically, many of the white supremacist founders, the people that they praise, the people that they put on money, the people that they put on statues, these were sexual abusers. These were sadistic degenerates, violent psychopaths. The Thomas Jeffersons, the Nathan Bedford Forrest, the founder of the KKK, Andrew Jackson. I mean, these are slave owners and degenerates. And these are the people that we have on money. George Washington was a degenerate, a slave owner. They said that he had a baby by one of his slaves. That's been a rumor for a long time. We know Thomas Jefferson couldn't stay out of the slave quarters with his pants down. But George Washington, that was another one. So some deep stuff. They were degenerates from top to bottom. And they project all of that nonsense onto us. And they weren't moral giants. There was nothing moral about these people because all of their morality, it contradicted itself. All men are created equal, but you got enslaved people. So they were cruel enforcers of dominance. That's all that's about. See, white supremacy, it's rooted in insecurity, not nobility. You got to understand what roots white supremacy: the fear of genetic annihilation based on the potential of black people's genes and DNA. And that's the cause of the insecurity. And because they lack the moral and intellectual and spiritual legitimacy that we have, they have to constantly create symbols of dominance, rather symbols of virtue. So everything they do is based on lies, theft, fear, dominance. Um, they elevate brutes and degenerates as symbols of strength. So everything is all about harming people. What kind of ways can you harm people and harm people collectively? You see. And also the thing about degenerates are easier to control and radicalize. See, the white supremacist machine benefits from promoting unstable or fringe individuals. See, just like this woman up here in New York, they're saying this woman has a criminal record. She's doing all types of degenerate shit. Some people are saying there was some drug use and just all types of stuff. Even with Kyle Rittenhouse, the media ignored images and pictures of him and videos of him beating up a girl at his school. There's a lot of shit that they went out of their way to ignore, all of his little degenerate behavior. You see, they look for the degenerate people within the dominant society because they can be flipped. See, these people are easier to weaponize because they seek validation and purpose. So, the platforms like 4chan and Reddit and all that, they radicalize some of these lost individuals by offering them instant praise for their racist actions. And then they become foot soldiers for white supremacy because these are the nerds. These online nerds are the worst. The ones who can't really function in real life. So these gamers and 4chan nerds, people stay on the internet trolling all day. Those are the main recruits, you see. And white supremacy, it really thrives on flipping the narrative, you see. And there's no such thing as a morally upright white supremacist. That's a contradiction. You can't be morally upright and simultaneously uphold white supremacy, which is inherently immoral. Because it ain't about race pride; it's about dominating. It ain't about race. What the hell do you have pride in? When people start talking about race pride, what the hell do you have pride in? What, cursing out a 5-year-old special needs black kid? That's the pride. You understand? What do you have pride in as a white supremacist? There's nothing proud. You take pride in bravery. There's nothing brave about attacking damn children who's helpless. Especially children don't even know that they're being attacked. They don't even know what you're calling them. You understand? It's like with Daniel Penny choking Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely don't even know what happened to him. A kid died without even knowing what the hell what happened. Remember, Daniel Penny got him from the back. He didn't even see his killer. You know how cowardly that is? Very much so. Excuse me, I have to take me a sip of water. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, there's no such thing as a morally upright white supremacist. So to praise somebody for supporting white supremacy, that requires you to redefine what moral standards are, you see. And their heroes are basically weapons. They're not role models. See, white supremacist icons, they're not meant to inspire ethical living. There's nothing ethical about them. They're basically meant to terrorize. See, they're so-called heroes. They're chosen because, see, they remind black people of our vulnerability in a system that protects and rewards abusers. You see, that's why they praise certain degenerates to send a message to us. See, that's the purpose of praising a degenerate, to send a message. So it's saying, hey, we're gonna protect people who harm you. We're gonna support the people who harm you, no matter what walk of life they're from. It's real degenerate, and that's a part of their whole culture. Let me get some folks. We got a lot of people in here. Shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to everybody in here. So we got a lot of folks in here. Raise those hands. We got 1,200 people in here already. Let me get FBA Hannibal. Let's get Brother Hannibal in the building. FBA Hannibal, hop on, sir. What's up, brother? How are you, Hannibal?
So how you doing? How you doing? I don't know if you came across the video, the Asian man and the situation where he had with the Caucasian man when he choked him out and he was begging. It was just on social media. That was the first thing I wanted to point out. And the
Now,
second thing, I don't know if you go ahead.
okay. Now what happened with this video? I don't know what the video you're talking about.
Well, it's a video. I don't know the context or how it happened, but it's an Asian man that's choking out a Caucasian man. I don't know if he out there in Asia, but
Oh,
it looked like what?
okay. I got to look into it, but go ahead.
Yeah, basically it looked like the whole Daniel Penny thing, but the role was flipped. Now it's Asian choking out Caucasian,
Mhm.
you
Okay,
know, and
I got to look that up.
that was just the first thing. And as well, it came across my research of Albert Perry and his DNA. And he was from North Carolina in the 1800s on how his DNA go go further back than a lot of Africans by 300 by what, 38,000 years. He was in North Carolina in the 1800s, and they knew his DNA was more ancient than a lot of stuff, and they kept it on a low.
What now? What's his
I
name?
don't know
What's
if
his
you ever
name?
Albert Perry
He's a black
of
man.
North Carolina, black man,
Okay.
FBA.
Okay. I'm gonna look that up. That's interesting too. I'm gonna look that up
Yeah,
too.
his Y chromosome goes back way longer than a lot of African DNA.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna look.
Albert Perry.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up, brother. Thank you. All right. Let's get um Brad Spliff. Let's get Brad Spliff in the building. Brad Spliff in the building.
Oh yeah. So first of all, I just wanted to say, after listening to you talk for a while, it's very evident why they don't want niggas to listen to you, bruh.
Mm.
Number two, I find this very interesting considering this is directly and not too long after the whole situation with Carmelo Anthony,
Oh yeah.
and they call this fighting back.
Right.
So, what are you fighting back against exactly? Black people using their right to self defense in America?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That threatens them. I wrote a whole article on this. I'm gonna drop a link, but I just wanted to say I understand why they don't like you, and this is not coincidental.
Oh yeah. My brother, thank you so much. Man,
Nope.
listen, we gotta understand something. See, the white supremacists, they get very angry in spaces like this, but they're drawn to these spaces. Yeah, they love listening to these spaces because they're trying to figure out how to debunk us. Um, because in these spaces, we debunk all of that white supremacist gibberish. We debunk all that stuff. So their con game and white supremacy is really based on deception. And spaces like this, the deception, it don't work. So they're always monitoring our rooms listening to us and trying to find angles on, okay, how can we get in here and deceive? How can we run game? And notice whenever we start debunking them, they get very, very ticked off. Because see, when we debunk them, that exposes the fragility of their narratives. See, white supremacy, it's all about historical dominance. It's not moral righteousness. So when black intellectuals and influencers, when we start hitting them with hard data, peer-reviewed research, historic receipts, it tears down those myths and exposes white supremacy as weak, fabricated, and insecure. And also, it challenges the black inferiority lie. See, at the core, white supremacy is the lie that we're just intellectually inferior. But when black intellectuals calmly, that's why when I'm real cool and calm, that really pisses them off even more. That's why I'm like that. That's my trademark. That's my signature. By getting them out of their body and making them crash out. Because the name of the game is for them to get you to crash out. They want you emotional, cursing at them. When you start doing that, they got you. Oh, when you get all emotional and you get out your body, oh, they love that because now they're in control. So you better learn how to flip that. See, I control these white supremacists by remaining very calm. And then by the time I'm done with them, they're calling me all types of N words and jigaboos. And oh, they're very pissed. God damn you, Tariq. Like last night, somebody called up, you goddamn, your black ass is a, what did he say to me? You black ass thug. Yeah, they were cursing me out yesterday. I was all types of black ass thugs and all types of stuff. Because yeah, their con games don't work over here. Uh, and the name of the game is for them to trigger us. And when that doesn't work, that means they don't have control. White supremacy is about control. They like to control and dominate the interactions and the narratives. And when that don't work, they crash out. That's all you got to do. Don't follow their lead. Make them follow yours. Because see, when you start doing that, you make them crash out. You debunk them. That strips them of their psychological high of superiority. So they get like a little dopamine boost from believing that they're smarter and more logical and more strategic. They can push your buttons. So yeah, they get off on that. That's what they did. They go around on the internet all day pushing people's buttons. They go in rooms talking crazy and then have you crash out and start cacaing and kikiing and giggling. You understand? And then go to the next room doing the same thing. You know, that's a part of their culture, racial antagonism. They literally get off on doing that. So when you debate them in a calm, cool way, that ego is destroyed. And then they're forced to really confront their own mediocre disposition. So that creates rage, not reflection, because they can never take responsibility. And see, when we start debunking them on our own terms, see, that forces them in an arena where they really can't win. See, that's what I always tell people. If you know your stuff, boy, you start debating these white supremacists on their ideology, you're going to win because white supremacy is not based on logic, it's based on dominance. So what they do, they start getting into violent threats, trolling. Those are their comfort zones. But when you start trying to get academic and historical and logical, and when you know your stuff, boy, they lose power. Y'all be check out Nikki the God and Professor Allen and Wani's room. They be in there spanking the shit out of white supremacists. They don't stand a chance in there. They spank them. Yeah, spaces like that where you have black intellectuals who can cite sources and shut down the BS. Yeah, the white supremacists, they don't know how to operate in those spaces. And they don't know how to operate in here with me because see, I can go both ways with the dialogue. I can go intellectual and whoop them, and when they want to get to trolling, I can out troll them. That's the thing that really pisses them off because I start clowning back, and I'm better at it. So we can go either way. So then that frustrates them because if you want to go the troll route and you want to start hitting with the jokes, all right, let's go. I'm going to get you on that too. Yeah. But the thing is, when we start debunking them, that shows that, it embarrasses them in front of their audiences. See, when black intellectuals, when we start exposing their lies in public spaces and in online debates, that humiliates them. Then they got to do damage control, name calling, gaslighting. They're trying to discredit our credentials and all of that stuff. That's what happened in that Myron Gaines room when I went in there, and it was about Myron Gaines and about 9 other anti-black racists, and I went in there and embarrassed all of them, and they're still mad to this day because they wanted to do a little trolling, then I can out troll them, and then they tried to go intellectual. I out intellectualized them and spanked them, and they've been pissed off ever since. See, when we start doing that, that shows that black excellence is not dependent upon white systems. You see, black intellectualism and intelligence, it can thrive on its own outside of the white supremacist approval. See, they like certain individuals who are intellectuals who's part of like the Boule class. In the Boule class, they'll go only so far with going in on these white supremacists, and then they'll realize, oh, I can't go too far because I got a white boss at my job. Now, some of us on the grassroots, no, we don't worry about that, so we can go all the way in, and then they really have a problem with that. Because, see, we show that white supremacy is not rooted in merit. See, when a black thinker makes them look foolish, it reveals that the white supremacist status and their identity, it's not earned through merit or brilliance, but it's propped up by institutional bias and racism. And they know that. These people know that if it weren't for systematic white supremacy, they wouldn't be worth shit. White supremacy is a welfare system, and they know it. And then they start getting into the straw man arguments and all of that, and we can debunk that too. And we can never. That's one thing. Never get into their straw man arguments because that's a time wasting tactic.